Come on in, welcome to my home. Today we are going to talk about washers and dryers and what you probably need to think about before you decide to buy a washer and dryer. Well, okay, so that's not 100% true because let's face it, most of us when we go to buy a washer and dryer, there are two main factors that go into it: price and availability. And I know that was my two factors because if you've been watching this channel for a while, you've probably seen my old washer and dryer. And, well, they died over the summer. May they rest in peace. But it was sad, it was bad, and it was a problem because I needed a new washer and dryer right away, so I had to think about getting one right away. But the question became, what should I get? Should I get front loading? Should I get top loading? And, well, some of that was decided for me. Some of your decisions are going to be decided for you before you even begin to look at a washer and dryer, because you're going to have to think about how big are the washer and dryer. Well, here's the cool thing about this. The space that I have, I had to measure first, because of course that should be where you start off with your washer and dryer. You should measure the space that you actually have, not just the depth and the width, but you're also going to think about the height. Do you have enough room for certain washers and dryers? The height in my area was also dictated by the fact that I have a light switch right where anything which was too tall would go. So what I had to do is I had to think about that, which then ruled out a lot of things. Also, which ruled out a lot of things was the fact that the depth that I had, because my laundry room is actually in my guest bathroom. I didn't design the place, so hey. So with that being in my guest bathroom, there's only so much depth that I have for washer and dryer. Now, if you're looking at a high efficiency front loading washer and dryer, they're kind of deep. Have you looked at those? They're kind of deep. They're about 34 inches deep. Well, you have 34 inches deep. Well, yes, I do. However, there's something which you need to account for, and that is the amount of space that you need to have behind your washer and dryer. So don't just go off of the exact measurement of it. You're going to need to think about how much space does the recommended manufacturer's definition of how much space that you need to have behind your washer and dryer for all those little things like hoses and plugs and all those fun things. And I didn't have it. I didn't have it at all. So getting a front loader was not going to happen. So it had to be a top loading washer and dryer. Okay, I can deal with that. Top loading washer and dryer. So then I went to the store to look for top loading washers and dryers. And let's face it, we're doing this during a pandemic. So at the time when this had to happen, the availability of them were vastly limited. And I mean vastly limited, because I needed one right away. So I'm like, okay, here we go. Here are the choices that I have. They had a really small one, which I'm like, maybe that might be good for me. Let's think about this. Okay, a small washer and dryer can only hold so many loads of laundry. Yeah. When it comes to doing laundry, you really want to think about weight. Weight is how laundry is determined. It is determined by how much physical poundage of laundry you have. And why is that important? Well, because these things use weight. Think about the way a laundry machine works. It's actually using gears, and it's a tumbler, and if you have too much weight in there, you can strip out the gears, things can go completely wrong, belts break, gears break, the whole 9 yards. So you want to think about how much can your washer and dryer hold. When it comes to these, weight is big. If you live in an area where you are wearing heavy clothing all the time, or a majority of the time, you might really want to think about getting a more industrial, heavier machine, simply because the weight of your clothing, especially when it's wet, is going to make the laundry machine or the washer and dryer work harder. And that's something people really don't think about. If you live someplace where it's very warm all the time, you can go with a lighter machine simply because your clothing isn't as heavy, your machine is not going to have to work as hard. But it's done by weight, and as I can show you how much laundry actually weighs. In case you're curious, the average washer and dryer holds 10 pounds of laundry. The large washer and dryer holds 12 pounds of laundry, and the smaller compact washer and dryers hold 8 pounds of laundry. In case you're wondering what that looks like, in this basket here, there is approximately 6 pounds of laundry. 6 pounds. For me, this is not a full load of laundry. This is only Monday. So I have 2 extra days to go, which will give me the added weight that I need to have a full 10 pounds of laundry, so that way I'm doing a full load of laundry. When you do a washer and dryer, the one thing that you want to do is match the sizes. If you have a large washer and a small dryer, that can be a problem. That means that you're not going to be able to get all of your washing into your dryer, because as you're drying it, that means you're going to have to do it in 2 loads, and then you have your laundry sitting there in your washer. Yeah, nobody wants that. Can you go the opposite way and have a small washer and a large dryer? If I had to do it, that would be the way I would go. If I had to mismatch the machine, I'd make the dryer larger and the washer smaller. But yeah. Then there's the sensors. Sensors you can do a thing called timed drying, which basically timed drying is just like it sounds. You dry for an amount of time. Or some washers and dryers, the dryers have sensors. The sensors can detect how dry something is by the amount of moisture that is coming off of those things. Not a scientist, so I'm not going to go into the science behind it. But it will detect on how dry something is, and you can set it for that. What's the benefit of that? Well, once something hits dry, it's dry. Because if you keep it going after it's dry, all you're doing is just heating up the item. Not necessarily the best. I do like the sensors, and you can decide how dry you want something, because there's some things that you want to dry mostly in a washer and dryer and then line dry it or lay it out to dry the rest of the way. It depends. If you want to have a video on how to do laundry, that's a whole nother video, but a video on choosing a machine so that you can decide if it's worth having a sensor or if you just want to do time drying. Time drying is really good if you're used to doing laundry and you know your times right off the bat. That's easy. If not, sensors are a little bit better because it will shut off once it reaches a certain dryness. I have the laundry detergent, which I love to use, which is Drops. You've seen me do a video on that. If you haven't, check out that card. It'll show you that video. Love that detergent. It's wonderful. It's great. Fabric softener. Totally love it. So, not an issue so far. So 3 loads of laundry. The question became, okay, if I did a smaller washer and dryer, then that would mean that I would have to do more loads. That's not optimal. Not optimal at all. And in fact, there are times in the spring and fall when I do my whole house cleaning, where I'm washing like the covers and the curtains and those sort of things. And can you imagine only getting 1 curtain into a washer? And I have 6 curtains, bedspreads, couch covers. It would take forever. So those were out. Alright, when it came to the big washer and dryers, those were automatically out because I did not have the space for it. Those would have done about 1.5 baskets of laundry. Okay, that would have been nice, but didn't have the space for it. So what I boiled it down to, well, what was given to me, is I had to have just, the average size washer and dryer, standard size, nothing huge. So once I figured out the size that I needed, that was sort of it. I went to the store, looked around what they had, and there was very limited. I mean, very, very limited. So it came down to 2 choices. Okay, that's really good, but I forgot about something. And that something which was really important was, how was I going to get the washer and dryer into my condo? This becomes a bigger issue than what you might think. Because if you go with a washer and dryer, which the normal width of the average washer and dryer is about 27 inches, and the depth is about 30 inches, okay, so no problem, but you have to make sure that it's going to be able to get through the doors and the doorways and around the corners that you need to get it through to get it in. I measured to make certain. There were a few things that I was going to have to move, a few things that I was going to have to push out of the way, but I also took into account for like doorknobs and door handles, so I didn't have to take doors off, or if I would have had to know that I had to take the doors off. So I made sure that I had all of that information, all of it, because it was going to be important that I had the right size. But also what's going to be important is check out your plugs. See if you have a 4-prong or a 3-prong plug before you go out to buy your washer and dryer, because that's going to be one of the questions that they will ask you. They will ask you, well, what size of cord, what kind of cord do you need? Do you need a 3-prong? Do you need a 4-prong? Do you have a gas dryer? Do you have an electric dryer? You need to have all that information before you go. If not, you're going to make an extra trip. And nobody wants to make an extra trip at any time. So I knew that I had a 3-prong plug. I knew that my washer and dryer, I was going to need the new hoses, all of those fun things. And then I also knew that I was going to need a new dryer vent hose. Dryer vent hose? I'm pretty certain that's it. Dryer vent hose. I just knew that I wanted a new dryer vent hose. So all of that going into this, it's like, okay, so that's really cool. I get it there to the store, and then I start looking at what kind of things do I need in a washer and dryer. Realistically, because of who I am and how I live my life, I really need a washer and dryer that will just wash clothes and dry them. I don't have the need for delicate cycle. I don't have the need for all of those things. But sometimes that stuff goes out the window because of availability. Or you might need that extra thing. One of the things which I didn't even think about was until I was there was, am I going to need something that would take care of washing bedding? I did. Yeah. And I also liked the fact that I was thinking about, well, do I ever have a point where I need to have some heavy-duty washing done? Yep. Yes, I do. I have a dog. That's why I actually have covers on my couch, because my dog has a tendency to think that running in mud is really, really fun. And then when she comes inside and jumps up on the couch, even though she knows she's not supposed to, yeah, that's a problem. So yeah, I did need something that would take care of the heavy-duty kind of things. Now, one of the coolest things which I had found when I'd run into this problem before was my washer would get dirty on the inside. Yeah. Self-cleaning washer and dryer, wait, they make those. They have a cleaning cycle. My washer has a cleaning cycle that I run once a month, so that way it can take care of those sort of things. In the cleaning cycle, it heats up the water. It is just one of those amazing things to think about. What kind of cycles do you actually need? What kind of cycles do you just not need? There is a sanitizing cycle on my dryer, which I was just like, I will never ever use that, till I thought about the dog. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've used it. Think about the possibilities of what's to come. What are you going to be looking at? What are you not going to be looking at? My washer and dryer does have the ability to have liquid, so I can put the liquid in the dispensers behind. Yeah, I don't really use those. I do use the bleach compartment. Yes, I know, I'm trying to be environmentally sound, but still use bleach. Now, one of the things which drove me absolutely crazy about my old washer and dryer, the lint trap was at the back of the dryer. That wasn't that big a deal till you went to take out the lint, and you pulled out the lint trap, and like it got lint all over the top of the washer, all top of the dryer. It was a mess. This lint trap is at the front of the dryer, so when I open it up, I can take it out, take out my lint, and I make sure that I clean out my lint trap every time I use the dryer. Yes, every time. Once I unload the dryer, then I automatically go ahead and clean out that lint trap so that way there are no problems. We do have a person who comes in once a year and cleans out our dryer vent. That's a really handy thing to do. So that way you don't have to worry about that. Make sure that you are cleaning out your dryer vent. But the other things are like space. How much room do you need to have around your washer and dryer? Well, one of the things that I've found is like, you know, where my washer and dryer are, the space is tight. There's no two ways about it. So when I unload my washer and dryer, I have to take it into my office and put it on my desk, because that is the only space that I have to fold laundry. There is not another spot. I could take it and do what I've seen lots of people do, which is fold laundry on their bed. No thanks. I tell you why. Simply because that actually is, even though it's a short distance, it's actually all the way across my condo. So no, I'll just put it there, and it gives me a great way to fold and then put away. Gives me a great flat surface to fold on, so that way it just makes life easier. Now, the one thing that I do wish that I had is right now I'm using a chair that the back folds down to put my laundry on. I do wish I had one of those great little laundry wheelie carts that could put the clean laundry in. Oh, that'd be wonderful. Yeah, I'm looking into those, but right now all the ones I'm finding are quite expensive. So when it comes to laundry, I make sure that I have enough room to not just put the laundry into the laundry machine, take the laundry out, but to fold it. Folding laundry is one of those important processes of buying a washer and dryer, because it's one of those things where, let's say that you do your, we'll use sheets for a second. We'll say you do your sheets, you've dried them, but you don't get to take them out of the dryer right away. Some dryers have a cycle where every once in a while it will tumble the laundry or the dry laundry in the dryer so that it doesn't form wrinkles, because there's nothing worse than wrinkles on things. It just keeps things going so it isn't all pressed down together. That's something to think about if it is one of those things that you have a tendency to let your laundry sit for a while. Here's a question. Do you need a laundry alarm? Do you need child locks on your washer and dryer? I really don't, unless my dog figures out a way to open up the washer and dryer. But some people do. Now, would it have been great to have a washer and dryer that could communicate with my phone to let me know that the laundry is done? Yeah, sort of. I mean, there are those extra things that you have to ask yourself, well, is that important? If you have delicates, do you need some way of putting your delicates into like a dryer bag? Dryer bags can help hold things. They can help do things like hold your socks, those sort of things. Do you need some way of making sure that your colors don't bleed? Well, that's a whole laundry detergent video, but we won't get into that. But you need to really think about, how do you use your washer and dryer? Because it's really easy for me to just say, hey, get this size, do this, but no. What works for you? How many loads of laundry do you do a day? How many loads of laundry do you do a week? I have a friend, and she told me that I think she did 8 or 9 loads of laundry a week. And I was just floored. 8 or 9 loads of laundry a week? Wow. That's a lot of laundry. I mean, I think it's a lot doing my 3 loads of laundry a week. But you might do more, you might do less. Think about that. Do you want to separate out some of your laundry? Because it might be the fact that you work out all the time and you have workout clothes that need to be washed really regularly. You might want to have a smaller washer and dryer so that way you can wash those things quite regularly rather than just leaving them somewhere to just permeate the room. Those are a lot of things to think about. The fact that when it comes to a washer and dryer, it isn't just about the space that it will fit into, it's how does it fit into your life. Like I said, I love having the ability to only do 3 loads of laundry. Could I reduce it to 2? Technically? Yeah, maybe. One of the things that my washer does is it has the ability to help level itself off if it feels that it's unbalanced when it starts the spin cycle. How it does this is it refills it up with water, does some agitation, and then it spins it out. Does this work completely? Not 100%. No, not 100%. And I think, like, realistically, I'm like, that's a lot of wasted water. Do I like the center agitator? Yes, I do. Have I tried another kind? Not really. No, I just like the agitator. Do you have to have one? No, I mean, there are benefits for having one, there are benefits for not having one. You have to think about what works for you. One thing I really like about that is the agitator really does, and I've watched this now, it really does get my clothes from going through the whole cycle. And that's the other thing you want to think about, is think about your clothing. I do not have a lot of long clothing which would then tangle up and those sort of things. The biggest pieces of clothing or biggest pieces of laundry that I wash are my sheets. That's it. Those are the biggest pieces. And so I do like having the agitator. It doesn't really do anything to cause a problem. I don't understand, and you might tell me down in the comments below what the benefits of not having an agitator are, or what you think the benefits are. I just like it. I think it works really well, and it works really well for me, but you might have had a whole nother approach to it. But does your washer and dryer, do they work for you? One of the things that I was not worried about was color. No, really didn't care. I wasn't trying to match like my house and my appliances and everything because, well, one, needed the washer and dryer right away, and two, there are ways of putting color onto your washer and dryer if you're really into it, which if you are, let me know. We might someday do a video about that. But right now I can tell you that the washer and dryer that I have, I really like. Use it all the time. It is very beneficial for what I do. It's very beneficial for the way that I live my life. And as of right now, and probably even once we can go and do more, it really won't change. The amount of laundry that I did even before the pandemic was 3 loads of laundry a week. That was it. I work from home. So let me know down in the comments if this helped you at all. Let me know down in the comments what you are looking for in a washer and dryer, or what other things you'd like to see me talk about. So I hope you enjoyed that. Now, if you are interested in getting these videos early or helping support this channel, you can check out my channel memberships or Patreon. The channel memberships and Patreon those are the people who really help keep this channel going, because without them, there'd be no way that I'd be able to do these videos. And as you're seeing coming up, we have some big projects coming up. And I want to be able to do more and more of those types of things and take you along in the processes of buying some new appliances. And the only way that we're going to be able to do that is with the help of Patreon. Now, if you can't support or you're not interested in Patreon or channel memberships, that is perfectly fine. You can help this channel by giving it some likes, subscribing, and also sharing the channel. Sharing the videos does help the algorithm let the algorithm know that you like this video, and it helps support this channel. I like everything that I get the chance to do fun stuff, and then the more that we have support, the more fun things that we're going to get to do, and you're going to come along with me to really fix up my office. Is my big one right now. You're going to get to come along with me on that ride, so sit back and relax, and I hope I get to see you the next time you stop by.